if you have written another sub-procedure to do the main draw, and you've been a bit silly because we've already written a function that gets 6 random numbers. So for our main draw, we can reuse that the user-defined function that we've created. And as long as we spell it correctly, it should work. And then we can print the main draw to see which numbers we achieve. So we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So both 6 in length. It looked as if there was a mistake there, but it's because there's 2 digits in these ones. So that looks fine, but the real lottery has those numbers sorted. So what would be great is if we wrote another function to sort a list that we pass an array to it, which we'll look over at the end of this video, but that's definitely something you should be trying on your own at the moment. Now we want to compare to see how many numbers are the same. So again, I'm going to do that using a parameter. So we'll have a match variable equals 0, and we'll have a compare function that's going to take this variable matched in. In fact, we won't do it that way because that's silly, so we'll stick to the return values. So matched equals compare function, and then no need for any parameters. So after this function declaration, and we can say function to compare how many numbers were matched. Now parameters in, at the minute there are none that we are seeing. However, a smart way to do it, especially when we're going to have functions in a main program later, is to pass the lucky dip and the main draw items in as parameters. So we want to take in the lucky dip and the main draw. Return value, integer, number of matches. So definition statement compare brackets. Now I'm just going to call them list A and list B when they're local variables here, just so that I remember that they are locals. Matches variable, this one's called match, this one's called matches. They are different. One is a local, one is at the minute global, and they're doing the same thing, and it's fine. We should maybe even call them matched, and then it'll be the same name to keep it simple, but I'm going to use matches just so that we can see the difference. Now we'll get 0 matches at the beginning, so we want to do set number of matches to 0. We want to, for all items in the list, so for I in range length of list A, and if the current item is in the second list. So we can use these nice neat built-in functionality that's in Python to check if list A at position I, which is the current one, in list B at any point, which is really nice. You don't have to loop around this list to check them all. It actually does that for us. So if it's at any point in list B, and remembering earlier that we had this while loop to stop us having duplicates, we can then say set number of matches to number of matches plus 1. So matches equals matches plus 1. Now when that loop's finished, we want to return the number of matches return matches. So we have the return value, which makes sure that this is an actual function. And if we look at the code at the bottom here, I'm going to run it. Now we're going to get errors, just so we can see the type of errors. And I accidentally clicked the wrong button, so compare. Now, we can see that compare is not defined. That's because I accidentally altered it. So there's one type of error when you misspell it against syntax. Now, one error that people will get is this missing required positional arguments, these parameters. Our function requires 2 lists in order to function completely. And the first one it needs is lucky dip. I keep writing lucky drip. Now, if you only put one parameter in there, you'll get a similar error, as it still requires 1 positional argument. Let's see what happens when we put the comma in there and try and run it, and we get the same problem again. It's still looking for that list B, and at this point it requires the main draw numbers. Now when we run it, we get no errors. Quick look, it's hard to see how many numbers we matched. Looks like 0, but what we can do is print out many matches you had, print that your lucky dip had matched. I remember we've called it matched here and not matches. Numbers. So if we run it now, I have to be careful when I hit F5. Your lucky dip had 0 numbers. So interesting to see how long it would take us to go until we actually match a number. Now we go, finally we got one. Now this is why I don't play the lottery, because you need 2 to win any money, and it's just cost me a lot of money to not win yet. So we can see here the number that we matched was 15. So we matched the number 15. So it looks like our function's working. Now we could test that here by comparing a list that we force it to use. So we should get you matched 6 here to test that that part works. So your lucky dip, let's change that, I missed that, has matched. So this should say 6 numbers, works good. We change this one to a second 5, should only have 5 numbers. If we change this one again so that we've got 4 numbers, you can see that the functionality seems to work correctly on that. Now if you're stuck for what to start with to get them printed out in the correct order, function to sort a list, parameter in, list, return value is the same list but sorted. So def sort list to sort, to return list to sort. And again, before we print those, we would want to sort them. So that's definitely something that you've got to work on yourself, so you understand how the sort code functionality works. And now you can change these back to using the lucky dip and the main draw, and test it to see how many times it takes you to win the lottery, which might take a long time.